こんにちは、ギャンのレトロゲーム TV 司会のコーラでございます。今日はですね、前々から気になっていた、Dear Esther というね、ゲームをやっていきたいなと思います。で、基本的にね、僕はいつもちょっと騒がしい感じの、ちょっとね、そういうバカなゲームをやる方が多いんですが、今日はね、ちょっと皆さんに珍しくですね、このゲームの世界を味わっていただこうかなと思いまして、ちょっと僕もね、このゲームをちょっと真面目にプレイしたいと思います。で、基本的にね、お散歩ゲームなんで、なんかいろいろ、こういうところ、景色を見ながら進んでいきましょう。すごいな。基本的にもうなんか、口腫れてるもんね。中にも入れんだ。もう家主がいない状況で、一体ここはどれほど放置されてきたんだろうか。ひたすら帰るはずのない家主をずっとこの家は待ち続けているのだろう。おっと、行こう。とりあえずあちらに見える灯台を目指してみよう。険しい斜面だ。滑り落ちないようにしないと。雲の隙間から日の光が漏れている。空には雲が多い。決していい天気とは言えない。先を急ごう。おっと、こんなところをしたら死んでしまう。これは進めるのか。他に道はないものか。仕方がない。下を通っていこう。波は穏やかだが、一雨でも降られたら大変だな。砂浜か。特に漂流物などは何も見受けられない。なんだかな。かつての漁か何かの名残か。ここも昔は人々の声で賑わっていたんだろう。この上が登れそうだな。 行ってみるか。
At night, you can see the lights sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up on the cliffs, they are mundane. But down here, they fugue into ambiguity. For instance, I cannot readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel.
よし、登りきった。ここからもうちょい上に行けるのか。
Donnelly's book had not been taken out from the library since 1974. I decided it would never be missed as I slipped it under my coat and avoided the librarian's gaze on the way out. If the subject matter is obscure, the writer's literary style is even more so. It is not the text of a stable or trustworthy reporter. Perhaps it is fitting that my only companion in these last days should be a stolen book written by a dying man.
こうしてみると意外と遠いな。
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boat, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
なんだあれは。ストーンヘンジに似てるが。間違いなく人工物だな。
They were God-fearing people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether. In the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance, that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradiction?
あれはナンパ船か。ただそこには近づけなさそうだな。
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life. I would leave you presents outside your retreat in this interim space between cliff and beach. I would leave you loaves and fishes, but the fish stocks have been depleted and I've run out of bread. I would row you back to your homeland in a bottomless boat, but I fear we would both be driven mad by the chatter of the sea creatures.
すごい。なんだこれは。 絵か。昔ここに住んでいた人々が残したものだろうか。はたまた古代の遺物か。それとも自然が生み出した産物か。お供え物。ここはかつての人々の信仰の場であったのかもしれないな。こちらはいけるのだろうか。おっと、驚いた。さすがに水の中を渡っていくのが危険か。深いな。ダメだ。岩肌が滑ってしまってさすがに登れない。登れないか。仕方がない。引き返すのが得策だ。他に生き物などはいないのか。
He still maintains he wasn't drunk, but tired. I can't make the judgment or the distinction anymore. I was drunk when I landed here, and tired too. I walked up the cliff path in near darkness and camped in the bay where the trawler lies beached. It was only at dawn that I saw the bothy and decided to make my temporary lodgings there. I was expecting just the aerial and a transmitter stashed in a weatherproof box somewhere on the mount. It had an air of uneasy permanence to it. Like all the other buildings here, erosion seems to have evaded it completely.
こいつは驚いたな。先ほど上から見たこれ。本。これは洞窟の中で見たいの同じ。 何かの信仰対象か。さすがに険しくて登れないか。仕方がない。風が止んだ。いつ野生動物が襲いかかってるかわからないからな。慎重に進まねば。
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my ordnance survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
なんだあれは。建物。いや、違う。あれは船だ。それもバカでかい。こんなところで座礁したのか。しかしこの船相当古いぞ。どこを見ても朽ち果てた船ばっかりだな。俗に言う魔の海域ってやつか。
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
ここにも謎の絵が。
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk. What charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss? How many dead shepherds could fill this
なん
hole?
だこの穴は。こんなところに落ちたらひとたまりもないぞ。慎重に行かねば。不気味だな。内部の風の共鳴も不気味に響いてきやがる。建物。
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under. I will stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there. I'm drawn by the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there.
農場の跡地か。
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either. Inventory. A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes. Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
人が住まなくなった建物というのは朽ちるのが早いと聞くが、こんなにすぐに朽ちてしまうものなのか。それとも長い年月がこうさせたのか。この島は人類がいなくなり、昔の原始の世界へと戻ってきているのかもしれない。いつか人間が作ったものは朽ち果て、ここもまた生まれた時と同じ姿に戻るんだろう。